Hey everybody, JB back with you once again, and we are here at Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trials and Tribulations, Case 3's first day of trial, and we're kind of going into the second half of it. It wasn't bookended by a to be continued, but we're having two different witnesses separated by a recess, so I figured it was a good place to stop last time. And we're about to hear from the old man who was at the cafe where the murder happened, Mr. Victor Kudo. So let's go ahead and get started.
Court will now reconvene for the trial of Maggie Bird. Mr. Kudo, your next witness, please.
The prosecution calls the lucky old-timer who caught the show over a cup of coffee. I don't know if I'd call that lucky, although I can understand why Kudo would put a positive spin on the coffee part. Will the witness please take the stand? I see he's got his seeds here in court. Name and occupation, if you don't mind.
The name is Victor Kudo, born and bred in the land of the rising sun.
They're really pushing the fact that he's from Japan here, isn't he? Like, they've Americanized a lot of things about the game, but they are definitely keeping this one, which is really interesting.
Honor and duty are what make me. Mind you, I can be quite emotional at times, too.
Well, if by emotional you mean angry, then we've certainly seen that. We don't need to hear about that, Mr. Kudo. Just tell the court your occupation.
My occupation? Ka! Listen, young'un. How much did you think there is for kimono embroidery here?
Kimono embroidery?
That's what I do, or did, back in Japan. I embroidered family crests on kimonos.
Okay, so I guess they're going with the explanation that he came from Japan and now he's living in LA, if they're still insisting that this is Los Angeles.
My ancestors were embroidering kimonos before this country even existed.
Wow, a real craftsman. They're a dying breed. Hey, maybe he could embroider my costume sometime.
Anyway, like I said, there's not much demand for that kind of thing here. So I had to take a job working the cash register at a burger joint, pretending to smile.
That burger joint would have been better off putting him in the kitchen. Also, is that the burger joint where Maya likes to eat burgers? Maybe it's one of them.
Now then, witness, were you in the restaurant at the time of the incident? Oh, yes, I was eating some seeds over a cup of Javachino.
Wait, you're eating the seeds you feed to the birds? Or are those, like, different seeds?
Seeds? What do you think these are,
Okay, so it is those seeds.
I see.
So you saw everything that happened, Gramps?
Did I? Oh, yes. Oh, yes, I did. I saw it all.
Then please, tell the court. We're all ears. He likes to say that.
Sure. I'll tell you. I'll tell you every last detail.
He's really getting into this. What I witnessed. I was about to say that in his voice.
The young man was reading the sports paper. The serving girl brought him a Javachino, but she put something in it. The man took one sip of it, looked like he was in terrible pain, and then collapsed. That's the serving girl, right there in the defendant's chair. I remember her well.
I'm sure you do.
Mr. Kudo, she is not a serving girl. Please refer to her as a waitress. Ka! You're as bad as the rest of them. All these newfangled words. What's wrong with old-fashioned ones,
Newfangled? I feel like that's not a newfangled word.
All this talk of radios and glasses. It's wireless and spectacles, I tell you.
I feel like there's more things to get upset over than that.
Excuse me? Listen to me, everyone. Don't forget the old values. Don't let the good old days slip away. Well, I think it's time to begin the cross-examination, Mr. Wright.
Yes, Your Honor. Alright, this ought to be interesting. Okay, so he insists that Maggie put something in the coffee. That I find interesting. I'm just going to look at the stuff here. I don't think there's anything that contradicts his testimony. So I'm just gonna... I'm gonna ask him about this. Mr. Kudo, that is a very grave accusation. Are you sure about what you saw?
Victor Kudo never makes mistakes. I dot every T and cross every I.
I feel like there's a mistake in that statement. I see.
My eyesight's fine. The doctor said I only need spectacles for reading and driving.
I bet his eyes are only really fine when he's scoping out a waitress.
And I saw what the serving girl put into the Javachino as well.
I bet I know what's coming up and something tells me I'm not going to like it. Well, let's press harder. Your Honor, we need more clarification on what was put into the victim's coffee. I'd like to ask that the witness add what he knows about this to his testimony.
I agree. Witness, will you enlighten us, please? Sure, sir. There's no question about it. She very conspicuously put some white powder in there.
That could have been sugar. Did she really put that into the coffee?
You doubt me, boy? She took some out of a small brown bottle and sprinkled it in.
Couldn't she have been adding sugar? Yeah, exactly.
Sugar in a small brown bottle like that? Like that? Witness, could you please describe the bottle in more concrete terms?
Ha. A bottle like this, perhaps?
Oh, there it is. That's the one. That's the bottle of potassium cyanide, I presume?
That's what we've been assuming. So what did the accused put into the coffee? I think it's clear, don't you?
Arg.
Okay. There's gotta be some reason why we had to do that. Maybe we haven't seen the, Okay. We haven't seen anything else here. So maybe we need to press more. He took just one sip?
You youngins, you waste everything. Those Javachinos cost $8! In the good old days, we would have drank every last drop, eaten the cup, and then died!
Congratulations, you have earned the title of battiest man to grace a courtroom. So, was an immediate death? Well, with potassium cyanide, I suppose that is possible.
Oh yes, he slumped over without so much as a twitch. I felt the Javachino I just drank turn sour in my stomach.
Oh yes, I know that feeling.
And the waitress, I presume she is...
Okay. You said, I remember her well in reference to the waitress. Did she have any particular features that you can identify her by? Oh boy.
Particular features? It's a disgrace, that's what it is.
Sorry?
You can see all the way up to her, you know. She's practically naked in that uniform.
That sounds like a you problem. So the particular feature you recognize about the waitress is her outfit? But anyone could wear just such a uniform. Even me!
Mr. Wright, please spare the court of any further mental anguish from that image.
Don't get all excited, Nick. You gotta keep yourself together. I'm not the one who's getting all excited. I guess I got a bit carried away.
Gah! There are other things I recognize about her, too.
He seems pretty sure of himself. What should I do? Sure, you saw a waitress take the coffee over to the victim. But what matters is whether that waitress was Maggie Bird or not.
Quite right. Mr. Kudo, these other features that you recognize about the defendant, I would ask you to add them to your testimony. Sure, sure. There was a ribbon in her hair, and her apron straps were loose.
Hang on a sec. Do we know that Maggie has a ribbon in her hair? I guess she does there. Okay, that's not good. You do seem to remember several details about her appearance. But what about the most crucial detail of all? Her face.
Ka! As if I wouldn't remember that.
Objection!
Uh-oh. The witness noticed the straps on the accused's apron. He's unlikely to make a mistake about her face.
That's right. I can even tell you the color of the ribbon in her hair. It was red.
Okay, that lines up with Maggie. So you see, there's nothing wrong with the witness's eyesight. There's no doubt he remembers the waitress pretty well, which I do. I get the feeling there's something more to this somehow. Let's ask about the straps? Or the waitress's back. Let's try this. The identifying features you described are all things you would see from the back.
So what?
Is it possible that you never saw the waitress from the front at all?
Objection!
Ha! He's got you there, Gramps. Wait, why would that be an objection, then? People normally talk about facial features when they're asked to describe someone. But this witness's testimony is nothing but straps and ribbons.
This is harassment. I tell you I'm not obsessed with straps or ribbons. I'm just telling you what I saw.
It's more about what you didn't see that concerns me.
Mr. Kudo, the court requests that you add details about any identifying features you observed from the front, that is, to your testimony. Sure.
This old man's testimony is getting longer and longer. If I can't find a hole in it soon, it'll get even longer, I bet.
There wasn't anything that caught my interest about her when I saw her from the front.
Okay. Let's ask about that, I guess. You didn't find anything to be distinct, but you did clearly see the witness's face, yes?
No question about it. I didn't come this far to back down now. Victor Kudo never backs down.
That's not the answer I was looking for, but okay. This has turned into a matter of pride for old Seedy now, I guess. I wonder if he really did see Maggie's face or not. Like I thought, we need some concrete proof of this. Proof that the old guy didn't see the waitress clearly from the front. Do you think old Seedy really saw Maggie do it? Well, he probably had his eye on the waitress the whole time. That's why he was there. But he was there for the cute outfits, right? Not the waitress. I guess. She makes a good point, though. Hey, did I just say something clever? I wonder if the waitress Mr. Kudo saw really was Maggie. That's what we have to figure out, Nick. Okay, so that's the looping dialogue. I doubt that that statement's important. Okay, let me see if there's anything here that has anything to do with Maggie's appearance, or... Wait a minute. This here... This apron has a bunch of stains on it. Is that... I'm gonna present this. I feel like this is the answer. Yes! Awesome. Mr. Kudo, I would like you to please take a look at this. Ka! That filthy thing would suit filth like you just perfectly.
Actually, it reminds me of what my grandson looks like, just after he's done eating.
Have you ever seen this before?
Of course I haven't. Do you think I'd forget something as dirty as that? Well, you half-witted clat. What? What is it? Ever since I said you half-witted clot, there's been an eerie silence in here.
Mr. Kudo, this apron is the apron worn by the defendant on the day of the poisoning.
Huh?
And as you just said yourself, you wouldn't forget something like this. Which means if you had really seen this apron before... Yes, you know what I'm getting at. You couldn't have possibly seen the waitress from the front. Oops!
Witness! You can't just oops your way out of this!
Ha. Well, well. Looks like we finally have a genuine trial on our hands. Listen, Trite, here are the facts. On the day of the incident, there was only one waitress in the restaurant.
That being the defendant, Miss Maggie Bird?
Exactly. And when that one waitress put the poison into the coffee cup, this old guy was watching. pretty much proving here that he didn't notice anything that would have pinned the waitress as Maggie, which suggests that there is another person involved.
I hope you understand the gravity of the situation, Mr. Kudo. The fate of the defendant may rest on what you say you remember seeing.
Just tell the court exactly what you saw, Gramps.
You can rely on me, Captain. My noggin's in perfect working order. I can't remember a single occasion when I forgot what a burger a customer wanted.
He can't remember. Probably more like he messed up so many times he's blocking it out.
Very well. Let's test just how good your memory and attention to detail is, Mr. Kudo. Tell us what you remember about the victim.
Alright. About the victim.
He was another one of those pesky young types, wearing a broken pair of spectacles.
I don't think those are traditional glasses.
He had a newspaper in his right hand, and the noisy brat kept rustling its pages. The young man was listening to the wireless. I remember that well. Then the serving girl in question brought over the Javachino. The little fidget picked up the cup with his free hand and took a sip. The testimony we have just heard was to test how credible the witness's memory is. It seems to me that he remembers the victim in a great deal of detail. Oh yes, I hate those you-know-what types who are so vague about everything.
How are we going to handle this, Nick? And what does he mean by you-know-what types? We only need to do one thing. We just need to prove that the old man's memory is shot. Just trip him up, you mean? Isn't that kind of cruel? I suppose, but it's what I do best. Alright, I'm curious here. Newspaper in his right hand. Is that matching the crime photo? I don't know if that's exactly what's here. He doesn't have a newspaper here in his right hand. Hang on one sec. If he's saying that he took a sip with his free hand, I think in the photo it's his right hand, so I'm gonna present this. No? Okay, that's not great. I'm gonna look up the answer to this. Oh, the coffee cup. Okay, hang on a sec. So why would this be... Why would this be the contradicting piece of evidence? Is it because this is made to be a right-handed thing? Like, I see the handles on the right here, but you could just turn it around and hold it in your left hand, right? Okay. I guess we're presenting this. Mr. Kudo, do you remember what you were told at the start of this testimony? That this was a way of testing the credibility of your memory?
I know. There's nothing wrong with my memory, I tell you. Nothing. If I got anything wrong, I'll eat these seeds and sing the pigeon song.
The pigeon song? Care to tell us where this is going, Trite? According to Mr. Kudo, the victim was holding the paper in his right hand, while drinking coffee with his free hand, which would make that his left.
Ka! What is this? Kindergarten?
But I would like the court to please take a look at this.
That's the cup the victim used, correct?
Yes, and on the rim, you'll notice the mark left by the victim's lips. Oh! He had to have been holding it with his right hand in order to leave that mark. That's right, so he could have turned it around. I'm an idiot.
Yes, there's a stain left by the coffee.
If you consider where that stain is, you'll clearly see that the victim was holding the cup in his right hand. I feel like the photo should have been used as useful as evidence here.
But how?
Well, Mr. Kudo, the court is waiting for your epic performance. You said you'd eat those seeds and sing the pigeon song.
Arg!
Yeah, I want to hear the pigeon song.
Mr. Kudo, I'm afraid this is simply not acceptable. I think the witness had better go back to the park where he came. Wait! If you think I'm going to stand here and listen to you tell me I'm mad, you're wrong. I don't care about that dirty coffee cup. I know what I saw. You still insist on your testimony? That young brat was holding the cup in his left hand. Oh yes, no question. I'm a good law-abiding citizen, I am. It's that dead young hotbot, and you spiky-haired yahoo who are at fault.
Hotbot? I don't think I've ever heard that term before. Who, me?
Thank you, old man. We've heard quite enough from you already. Don't call me old man, old man. Been around for 68 years.
Yeah, that's 68. For some reason, my brain just kind of went blank there and thought that that number was something else.
Been around for 68 years, I have. You can't ignore me. Listen to what I've got to say!
I still have not heard the pigeon song.
I'm sorry, Mr. Kudo, but...
Sure, why not hear a little more?
Mr. Kudo!
But this is my 16th cup of coffee, so this is your final stand.
Thank you, Captain. You can rely on Victor.
Left hand or right hand?
The boy was wearing an earpiece on the same side as the green lens of his specs. He kept fiddling with it all the time. He was fiddling with it just before he picked up the cup, too. And then he used the same hand to pick up the cup. His left hand. We know that the victim was wearing an unusual monocle over his left eye.
It wasn't a monocle, Your Honor. It was a small computer monitor often used by programmers.
A monitor? You mean like a television screen?
The inside of the lens is a screen that displays computer data. It's called an HMD. It's a common tool in the victim's line of work. I don't know any programmers who use that.
HTTV, DVD, CD, all these newfangled letters drive me mad, but they don't matter.
I feel like there's even more that have come about since this game was made.
I know what I saw and I'm telling the truth.
It's true, he doesn't seem to be lying.
And those are the facts in good old black and white.
Black and white? Okay. I just want to see the thing here. Okay, it doesn't show... Okay, left eardrum was ruptured. Okay, so that does line up. Okay, let's go ahead and press stuff here. So the victim was wearing an HMD.
HD, TV, CD, DVD, what does it matter?
It was none of them, actually, but anyway. And you're sure that he was wearing the earpiece on the same side?
No question. I could only see that side of his head from where I was sitting.
Yeah, that's pretty obvious if you look at the floor plans. From the opposite table, he'd only have a view of the side of the victim's head. Okay. It seems he kept an eye on Mr. Glenn Elg.
He was getting on my nerves, rustling that newspaper and fiddling with his earpiece all the time. And then he went and made that fuss dying from one sip of Javachino. I wanted to say to him, calm down, you young brat. Just looking at him made me suddenly speed up my seed eating. I could have choked.
So I take it the victim was a walking ball of nervous energy. The earpiece you mentioned, which hand did the victim touch it with?
You're one of those people, aren't you? You're the type that uses your left hand to get things out of your right pocket.
Huh?
Or fastens your left cuff with your right hand. And when the tour guide says, on your right side, you'll see the famous blah blah, you're the only one who deliberately looks left. Well, aren't you?
No. No, I didn't mean...
Obviously, you use a hand on the same side of his body that the earpiece was in. Ow, ow, ow.
So if he had the HMD on his left side, And it was his left hand, I guess. Okay. You seem very sure of yourself, Mr. Kudo.
That's because I know what I saw, no matter what tricks you try to play on me.
It looks like you really did see the guy picking up the cup with his left hand. This is a dead end. Well, Nick, what do you think? I think the guy's telling the truth. But even so, something's not quite right. And chuck evidence at him until he breaks. But if he's not lying, there wouldn't be any contradictions in his testimony, right? So I'm beginning to think at this point that if he is telling the truth, and they're suggesting that to us, then maybe the evidence is trying to suggest that the poisoning was deliberately set up to look like what he didn't see. So I'm curious what else is here. I don't know if there's anything about this that suggests that he's left-handed. Okay. I'm just trying to see if there's anything. I feel like this photo is the closest thing to something that might be a thing we can present, but I'm not really seeing... Yeah, I'm not really seeing anything here that contradicts stuff. I'm just seeing if there's anything here. Yeah, I don't see anything there. He kept fiddling with it. Okay. Yeah, I'm just not seeing the... I'm just not seeing, like, what it is here that we're supposed to do. I'm just gonna look one more time at this. That's not... Sorry, I'm just trying to process this. This is not... Something's wrong here, and I don't know what it is that we're supposed to be presenting. What is he clutching with his right hand there? I feel like we're supposed to present this picture at the last statement, but I don't know why. I'm going to look up the answer. Oh. Oh, we're supposed to present the victim's profile. Okay, I missed this. So, I guess what you're supposed to figure out here is that left eardrum was ruptured, suggests that he's supposed to wear the earpiece on his right ear, because that's the ear he would need to hear out of. The earpiece he would need to wear in his right ear. I'm not sure what the relevance of this is, but... Mr. Kudo, there's something very strange about your observations of the victim.
What?
You say he was wearing the earpiece on the same side as the HMD.
No question. You can lock me up if I'm wrong. It was his left ear, without a doubt. I could only see that side of his head from where I was sitting.
I don't think so.
What did you say?
You're no doubt unaware of this fact, Mr. Kudo, but the victim couldn't hear with his left ear. His eardrum was ruptured.
Eh?
Traces of medication for his condition were found in his ear canal. That's right. It's impossible that the victim was wearing his earpiece in his left ear, because he couldn't even hear in that ear.
Is that true, Captain?
Could he have been applying the medication, then? Is that what he was fiddling with? It is.
Pigeon! Pretty pigeon!
Alright, that's the pigeon song.
Order! Order! Order!
This witness's testimony is completely unreliable. He only saw the waitress from behind, and he claims the victim was wearing an earpiece when we know his eardrum was ruptured. Well, Mr. Kudo?
Arg!
A single drop of milk is all it takes to destroy the pure black magic in the cup. No, I disagree with that. I like my coffee with some cream and milk or whatever. This old man is my drop of milk.
Captain, are you calling me a drip? This is the victim's coffee cup in which the potassium cyanide was found. The mark on the rim clearly shows that the victim picked it up with his right hand. I'll never back down. I know I'm right. The lad drank his Javachino with his left hand.
Let me put you out of your misery. Clearly, the victim used both hands. He took a sip with the cup held in his right hand, and then switched to his left. That's what the old man saw. Impossible. The witness has already testified on numerous occasions that the victim died immediately after taking just one sip of the coffee. Which hand the victim used to pick up his cup is irrelevant, Your Honor. The facts still stand. With one hand or the other, Mr. L drank the poisoned coffee. Like this. Sadly, Mr. Kudo, that doesn't wash. The point of this testimony was to establish whether the witness's memory is credible. And the results are clear. The testimony given by this witness is useless.
I believe it is time to conclude today's proceedings. I'm satisfied that the witness is not deceiving the court, but to be frank, his testimony is a farce. Did you have to be so frank? Take that, you pompous old fogey. I'm sorry, Mr. Kudo, you can't reach me from there. I'm ordering the defense... Oh, sorry, that's the judge's voice, not Mr. Kudo's. I'm ordering the defense and the prosecution to investigate this case further. That is all for now. This court is adjourned. Hold it! Wait! If we stop now, where does that leave me? Leave you, Mr. Kudo? Thanks to that blue-suited young upstart over there. I'm just a bumbling old man who can't even dot his T's or cross his I's now. How is your bad memory my fault? Also, those are the wrong letters. I'm sorry, Mr. Kudo, but there's nothing I can do. I've kept my mouth shut until now, but there's something else the court should know. Of course, there's always something else. What? There's more? To be perfectly honest, it might not be anything, but I want another chance. I want another crack on you, you young shark. Me? He's looking at me like I'm some sort of evil shogun. Well, everyone, what do you say to one final showdown? The final chapter in this eccentric old man's scrapbook. Sorry, Gramps. I've already had my 17th cup of coffee. What have you got to lose, Captain? I'll give you all the Javachino you want if you come to my house after the trial. I may be 68 years old, but Victor Kudo is still a man. That's enough, witness. I believe it'll be quicker for the court to just hear your testimony. You bet. Much, much quicker. I can't believe this is happening. Ha ha! You better get ready, youngster. I get the picture. Just quit throwing those seeds at me, would you? He's got to be using some sort of infinite ammo code with that box of seeds. Something like that. The final showdown. First of all, I want to stress that this might be nothing. I'm not too sure of myself. Okay, that's kind of not exactly great for your credibility right there. The young boy slumped over the table as soon as he took one sip of his Javachino. While the clumsy idiot upset the vase. He knocked it right over. It broke and the strip of cloth covering the table got completely soaked. Well, how about that? Turn things upside down, Well, that doesn't line up with the picture, where he was already slumped over without the vase being knocked over. Is that all? Yes, that's all. I remember it perfectly. You're doubting me again? You're doubting a poor, defenseless old man? No, we're not downing you, Mr. Kudo.
Don't you get the feeling there's a question hanging on everyone's lips, Nick? Yeah, so what? Probably. That's all I can think of, and I have to cross-examine this guy.
You're a bird brain, that's why all you can think of. Very well. Mr. Wright, your final cross-examination, please.
Alright, I think I know exactly what I'm going to do here. There we go. Fastest cross-examination ever. Mr. Kudo, this is a photograph of the crime scene.
So what?
Look carefully at the table. The vase is there, intact.
Huh?
Lost your tongue, Granddad?
I'm no granddad of yours, hopscotch. Ow! Ow! Enough! If you throw any more seeds in this courtroom, the cleaners will be here all night. Ah! What is it now? I just remembered something.
What now? Yes, go on.
The broken vase. Ha! It was on my table.
What?
Oh, well, you see, it startled me when that young lad collapsed, so I stood up. That must have been when it fell over. The vase on my table, I mean.
Okay, so this whole cross-examination was pointless.
The vase on your table? Ah, yes, it was on my table. And that's how my groin came to be completely soaked.
Okay, we didn't need that bit of detail. Yeah, I feel like this is how we're all feeling right now. I thought another cup of coffee was going to slide in Kudo's hands there with the way he was posed.
Thank you, Mr. Kudo. You certainly earned your kudos for today. I'd like to ask a question now. Have I been any use at all? Perhaps that's something you should reflect on yourself, Mr. Kudo. Wait a minute. If that's the case, there's more. I've got more to say. Oh, yes. I remember something else. Bailiff, escort the witness out of the courtroom. Wait, listen to me. Well, we seem to have been considerably sidetracked, and I'm still not in a position to deliver a verdict. The defendant has not been positively identified as the waitress in question. Additionally, there are two disparities in the testimony we have heard thus far. The mark on the coffee cup that the victim supposedly drank with from his left hand, and the earpiece, which was inserted into his left ear out of which he couldn't hear. Also, the apron issue. Wow, Nick, you did it! I therefore require both the defense and the prosecution to further investigate the facts. Yes, Your Honor. There's one more thing before I call today's session to an end. One more thing, Your Honor? The witness we just heard from, he is most insistent that his testimony should be of use, so he summarized it accordingly into this statement. Oh, another poem? Okay. You may each have a copy of it if you wish. Whatever. The prosecution doesn't need props like that. Kudo's really mad, huh? Yeah, I would be too. Very well. Here you are then, Mr. Wright. There are 3 copies. My own, yours, and Mr. Kudo's. Yes, Your Honor. Victor's testimony added to the court record. When the incident occurred, I broke the vase at my seat. I'm sorry. That's not a haiku. I'm sorry. This isn't a piece of testimony, more like a 5-year-old's apology. What the heck are we supposed to do with 3 copies? I have a feeling that that's going to be somehow useful. That is all. This court is adjourned. Alright. Well, we will continue investigating in the next video. So until then, thanks so much for watching, everybody. And I will see you then. Hope you all enjoyed yourselves today. If you did, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you next time.